I was like, okay, so we're a little rusty because it's been a while.
We haven't shot an episode in a while, but
sorry.
We're back. And in keeping with the theme, this is the year of former Vizard employees. So we got Mr. Danny Miller with us.
DM right here. You've already seen some of his art. He's an artist extraordinaire.
But we're going to be talking about something that Danny and both Danny and Huru are passionate about, and me too a little bit. But they're definitely the experts. We're talking about all things Godzilla.
A little bit.
A little bit. I want to mention briefly the movie Colossal, starring Miss Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis and Tim Blake Nelson and Dan Stevens.
I like those people.
If you're a fan of the show Legion, he's the star of Legion, and he was in Colossal. Colossal was directed by Nacho Vigalondo. He's an Academy Award nominated director. He also made a movie called Open Windows, Extraterrestrial, and Time Crimes, something that Huru is stoked about.
We're going to talk about Time Crimes later.
It's a great movie. It's one of those movies, it was killed by the trailer, because the trailer isn't representative of the movie that it is.
Or Anne Hathaway, if you're not a fan of Anne Hathaway.
But if you're not, this might be the movie that brings you around, because she's really good. It was like a kind of a ballsy performance. It's not the kind of role she usually takes. But like I said, if you saw the trailer for Colossal, the actual finished the movie isn't like the trailer at all. So like the trailer made it out to be this like kind of wacky, almost like a romantic comedy. It's not. The movie is about an alcoholic who has like bottomed out, and the monster that she manifests is a metaphor for the way alcoholism has destroyed everything in her life. It's a really good movie. Jason Sudeikis is great in it.
So is Anne Hathaway in it?
She's a star.
So anyway, yeah. Godzilla.
Colossal, check it out. Forget what Huru said. It's a great movie. Check it out.
I didn't say anything. I said Godzilla. This is what we're going to talk about now.
Yeah, so get to Godzilla.
And Cameron's seen Godzilla. You've seen Godzilla.
Yeah, I grew up with Godzilla. I just don't know it like you guys do.
Godzilla's... should we give an introduction to Godzilla? Like,
I mean, he's the king of the monsters.
He's the king of the monsters. Originally, a metaphor for the nuclear bomb, Hiroshima bomb, and what happens when we mess with Mother Nature, sort of thing. Humans tampering with things they don't understand, and extremely destructive. So, like.
Yeah, I mean, the 54 one was, the original Godzilla was very dark, very bleak, very, I mean, it was, commentary, like the Japanese were basically saying, like, yeah, you do bad things and Mother Nature's going to come back. And that was what the whole thing was. Godzilla was just this, like, force of nature. Which was the bomb.
And I really think a lot of that is kind of lost nowadays.
Oh,
like people see, Godzilla is just a cheesy monster movie, a guy in a rubber suit sort of thing, like, and they lose track of the message.
I think they brought that back with the Shin Godzilla movie,
which we will talk about.
Shin Godzilla was great.
But it was also kind of a social commentary. But yeah. Between the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it was just giant monsters fighting each other.
Which isn't a bad thing necessarily.
No, it's not.
But it helps if you know the origin and where it was coming from originally.
Well, and like any like property that lasts that long, kind of like Batman went through his like darker, grittier times in comics.
Right.
Where like in the 60s he was a little cheesy.
Yeah.
And, so it's just it's like anything. There's going to be, especially over that many decades, there's going to be different interpretations.
So. And I think like something that's been around forever, like they're representative of the decade that they come out in. Like James Bond would be a good example of something like that.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
They're all different, but it's the same beast.
Yeah. So as he was saying, they've gone through various iterations over the decades and years. It's gone from very serious social commentary and gotten lighter, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I would say the 60s, the 60s they definitely geared it towards kids. And he was almost like a superhero. Yeah. He always was fighting.
Even had a miniature or a smaller version of him.
Yeah. And they always had kids in the movie, so that the kids that were watching it, could relate or have a character to relate to. So I think the 60s and 70s definitely got a little lighter.
Yeah.
And definitely was aiming towards kids once Toho realized kids were watching it. So.
I guess we got to do the shout out now. Our other member, our third wheel, Raleigh, wanted us to mention Godzilla versus the Smog Monster.
Yep.
Because apparently that's his favorite. I don't know why.
Raleigh really wanted to be here for this. This was the episode he was really stoked about
it's
doing.
Like the worst one. You know, like if you... The social commentary is there, but now they're really beating you over the head with it, and they're throwing in like hippies, and there's a lot of dancing.
I have a soft spot for that movie because it's out there.
Right.
It had animated sequences. And he's definitely, out of like all the Godzilla villains, he's in my top 3 just because he's so sad and pathetic looking. I guess I always like... Kind of like the creature from the Black Lagoon, you know, like he's kind of sad looking too, you know.
That is true.
He's not like super scary, you know, like the Wolfman or Frankenstein or Dracula.
Right.
He just always looked like I shouldn't be.
Yeah.
And Hedorah kind of always had that, you know, the sideways eyes and just kind of like he just. So I always have a, you know, they'll show you pictures.
Oh, we're gonna put pictures up.
But I have plenty of Hedorah toys and stuff like that. So. Or Hedorah, or however you want to say it. I say Hedorah, or Smog Monster if you want to just call him that.
I say Hedorah too.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for that movie. It's not one I would put in my, you know, I'm gonna watch it all the time, but it's definitely worth like a good, you know, good viewing every like 4 or 5 years, you know, just to go, oh yeah, they did that.
I own it, but the reason I own it is because it was one of the I hadn't seen it yet. So I found a sale on Godzilla DVDs, and I just started like, all the ones I didn't have. Started filling in. I was like, don't have it. And I'm watching. I'm like, loving it. What the heck is this? And got to that one. So I own it, but I probably wouldn't have if I had seen it first. And I'm only missing like a couple of more. What's your favorite? Like what's your favorite? We know Raleigh's favorite. What's yours?
I mean, definitely Godzilla versus Biollante.
I have seen that. Yeah, this is a really good one.
It's one of my favorites just because the monster. I mean, and little known fact, one of the only female kaijus in.
That's right.
Yeah, Biollante was a female, and then there's Mothra, who's a female. Yep. But as far as like bad guy monster, she was awesome. The effects were just cool. The practical effects and like the Heisei era of Godzilla, the 80s and 90s, were just so much fun to watch. Like the monsters, the buildings, the attention to detail,
the models that they did.
I mean, so it was just, to me, it was like a really cool spectacle, and I just remember seeing it as a kid and just, you know, being floored by it. And it was like the first time that Godzilla was dark, but he's also still the good guy, kind of. You know, they go back and forth where Godzilla is the bad guy, and but
almost like wrestling. He's the hero.
Exactly. And then Godzilla 84 or 85, depending on where you were when it came out. But that one I saw in the theater. That was my first one as a kid in the theater, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. So those two would probably be up there. Some close ones, I'd say Shin Godzilla blew me away.
Well, hang on to that. I'll tell you my favorite, because once I saw it as a kid, Godzilla, and there were cartoons and stuff and like toys, so I wasn't gonna get the whole atomic dark message until I got older. So that I respect. I'm like, okay, now I know where it's from and why this is actually created and whatever. But now I know that, I'm like, all right, but more monsters. So my favorite was probably, what I liked about Godzilla was he was a giant monster. And that now there's a universe of giant monsters, you know, they had to fight. So I think I actually liked the supporting cast more. I'm usually that type of guy. I like Lando more than I like Luke or Han Solo, that sort of thing. And I loved in Godzilla Final Wars, which I love. And this is, you know, one of the hallmarks of the series. There would be certain mecha versions of monsters. So there was a Mecha Godzilla, there was a Mecha King Ghidorah. So, you know, they're just automated, lots of metal and robotic parts or whatever. And they brought in a Mecha Gigan.
Yep.
And I remember my head just exploded. Like, because this was like, it hadn't been for a while. They'd all been kind of like, all right, we'll add one more. But they hadn't done another Mecha in a while. And normally he has like claws. We'll put a picture up. Normally he has claws, but this one he had chainsaws. Yeah. But the Mecha one he had chainsaws, and I literally almost cried. Like it was like it was beautiful.
Because he got destroyed, and then they fixed him up, and then they added the buzzsaws on his hand, and like.
I think silent thank you.
Yeah, Final Wars, you're definitely like. There's two groups that you either love.
Yeah.
How ridiculous Final Wars is, or you hate it.
Yeah.
Like,
and I can see that. It is ridiculous.
You know, I love it for its cheesiness, but I can see why people like are just like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah,
like,
I can see that too.
Because there's like you know mutant people that are like have superpowers.
It's Power Rangers.
It was like Matrix, Godzilla.
And Power Rangers, just all
and Battle Royale.
Yeah,
just throw it all together.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I think that sounds awesome.
I mean, and it's one of those times.
I want to see that one.
Yeah.
It's one of those times too where Godzilla kind of jumped the shark in that movie.
Yeah.
But the coolest part is that they have. They refer back to the 1998 American Godzilla.
That's what you tell me where they just squash him immediately.
Squashed it.
So,
I was like,
yes. Even the Japanese, or in the Japanese, they even say, in the military, they go, oh, Americans thought that was Godzilla. That wasn't Godzilla. And they just called him Zilla.
Yeah.
And then they have a scene where Godzilla like destroys them, but it's
Pimp
cool.
slaps him.
But it's cool because they still keep them in bad CGI.
Yeah.
So it was like their way of saying like, no, all our characters are in suits. Let's throw this stupid CGI monster in
like,
there.
here's what you did.
So I did like that. That was fun.
Yeah, that was good.
That was good, like fan service. I think
that was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember that was you talked about that at Vizart.
Yeah,
because you were telling me about it. Like I still haven't seen this movie, but I remember.
Have you not still seen it? Okay,
because I'll borrow from it.
All right,
there are 31 Godzilla movies.
Yeah, but I remember you telling me about that.
I've been telling you about this for a while.
But I do specifically remember you telling me. It's like, and there's a scene where they've got the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, and they just. And it's the greatest thing ever.
It's the greatest thing ever.
It is so awesome.
It is fantastic. So my other favorite, and I've loved them pretty much all, except for maybe Hedorah. I've pretty much loved them all going up through there, and I love the monsters especially. But, and he mentioned before, the most recent one, Shin Godzilla, blew me away as a movie. Like, forget that, yes, it's a giant monster, the latest in the series that's been going on for 40 years or something like that?
54.
Yeah. This movie, and you've seen it. You've seen Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
so Baxter, right?
Yeah. You remember that? Yeah, and it was so good.
It was the first time in all of these, because mostly it's kind of like I was saying, like wrestling. You sort of this is entertainment, and there's good guys. Let's see the fight, and da. And I didn't normally care about the people per se, you know, because I'm there to see. It's Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
I'm there to see him and what other giant monsters are there. And in this one, I was caring about the people and what they were doing and how they were trying to solve the problem of this monster. That was it was like a disaster pit.
I feel like it's something like when something's been done so many times, you have to think like, all right, well, what new spin can we put on this?
Right.
Yeah.
And by focusing on the way like government agencies and politicians and the bureaucracy would deal with this, like they made it as real as possible. It's like, okay, if like, yeah, this is a guy in a rubber suit,
right.
But let's say this is actually happening, like how would a government like deal with it?
Right.
Like what? Like, and it's all about the meetings that they're having and phone calls that they're having, and like they've got to get approval to like do this to make this happen, and then. It was so good.
Danny actually, he saw it before I did, so I was asking because I knew it was out, but it was in and out of the theaters here before I could get to it. So he saw it before, and I was worried, and I was like, all right, how was it? And you sold it for me.
I mean, there was two things that were different about this movie than any other Godzilla movie. Godzilla looked completely different than what we're used to. Completely different.
And they had him evolving throughout the movie, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, and so he's just more gnarled. There's no personality to him.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is he's not in a suit. It's not a guy in a suit.
Right.
It's CGI.
Yeah.
And that was like the big thing. And I remember watching the trailer. I thought it was a guy in a suit.
Yeah. They did CGI to make it look like a guy in a suit.
Exactly. So like those are the two things I was worried about. How he looks you know, because you see him and it's like different. And then the CGI part, because it can look, you know, you're worried that, oh man, are they gonna, is it gonna be bad?
Is it gonna look like Star Wars?
And they've done some CGI before, like there was like, I forget what movie, it was during the Millennium series where Godzilla's swimming underwater and they had to do CGI.
Yeah.
It looked horrible.
Yeah.
So you get worried about that, and you know, it's the Japanese CGI industry is not very big. You know, it's not like Hollywood, you know, where there's tons of companies out there. But it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was flawless.
It was good.
There wasn't a moment where I thought, ugh.
Yeah.
You know, that was CGI.
Yeah.
Never, like, for a second.
Yeah.
You know, and...
It blended nicely with the models and the miniatures that they built.
Exactly.
It was seamless.
So,
really good.
And I loved it.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably about, like, 10 minutes or 15 minutes out of, like, you know, they could have probably snipped of, like... People running, you know, they had to give everybody a subtitle, you know, they gave everybody a name and a job. And like, you know, when they're given...
But that's Japanese.
Well, you know, but when they're telling us what the guy in the tank that's about to get crushed...
True.
When they're telling us his name, it's a little bit like, I don't need to know that. But that, I mean, that's like it. I mean, other than that, man, it's you know, easily in my top 5 favorite Godzilla movies.
If this is sort of like... And going, since we're former Vizarters, if we were back in Vizart and Vizart was still open, this is sort of like when people were coming in there towards the end, the last few years, and asking about anime. Anime was blowing up into mainstream.
Yeah.
And they would come in and ask, all right, I don't know anything about this, but I want to know what's a good thing to start off with. And usually we would say Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
And so this, if someone was... I was gonna recommend a Godzilla.
Just jumping in.
Just jumping in.
Shin Godzilla.
And it's sort of like Bebop at the time. I was like, you can watch this. The problem is if you like this because of this, there's really not anything else like this out there. So it's sort of the same thing. There's no other Godzilla pick like this, but I would highly recommend this to anyone.
And you have to remember that, like, you know, as this being a reboot, Shin Godzilla, what was great though is it still had the commentary that the 1954 one did have on the Hiroshima bomb, where this one was a commentary when they had the
tidal wave.
Tsunami. Yeah. And how bad the Japanese government kind of dropped the ball because no one would do anything without
approval.
And they had to get approval from like 5 higher ups. And then by the time they were like, all right, go ahead, and they were like, well, it's in a new city now.
Yeah, it's gone now.
So you'll see that in Shin Godzilla.
Thanks for the call.
And that's what was great about Shin Godzilla was Godzilla was just, there was no personality, there's no reason, he was just this force of nature.
Destroying shit left and right.
And it was great. And they're working on a sequel once, well, they have to wait till...
for the rights to...
Well, they have to wait till Lionsgate's done.
Okay, gotcha.
With their stuff.
Okay.
You know.
Really?
Which, you know, I understand why they're doing that, because it does get confusing.
Yeah.
A lot of people would see the American version that came out in 2014, and then they see a trailer for Shin Godzilla. So I could see what, you know, what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But, you know what? I would say as a Godzilla fan, this is a good problem to have.
It is a good problem.
And Shin Godzilla was way better than that last time.
Once again, like it was a better effort than the Matthew Broderick.
Oh, by leaps and bounds.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that.
Although I still like Jean Reno, that's my man for the professional.
Well, yeah, but put it in a better movie.
So I would give Our American, the more recent one. Like maybe like a
2.5 stars, 3 stars, out of 5.
I have a soft spot for the 2014 one.
Really?
A lot of people don't like it.
I didn't hate it, but I really didn't like it.
What's the separation between Shin and that one? So if you're giving Shin, because I give Shin an A.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how far down? Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna see. I mean, you know, like after I watched the American version that came out in 2014.
Right.
I had a good time in the theater.
Yeah.
I mean, and I came out and I was happy and I was like, damn, that was a Godzilla.
It might have been different if I'd seen it in the theater. I saw it on
I saw it in IMAX.
Right. I saw it on TV, so it might have been
I'd probably give it, and it was a good time because it was what my brother Joe wanted to do for his bachelor party was we went and had lunch and then saw that. Yeah. So it was kind of like in a good, you know, we were like, having a good time. And so I give it a B+. And a lot of people complain that there wasn't enough Godzilla. There wasn't enough Godzilla. Watch Jaws. How much of the shark is in?
True.
And if you watch every Godzilla movie before that, that was the formula. Godzilla never showed up until the end.
Until the end, yeah.
And it was always like, there was a bunch of storylines, and then it was at the end. And I think having him at the end was fun,
yeah,
and they made it worth it. Yeah. Like, the fights were awesome.
Maybe I'll rewatch it.
My problem was, and the formula, everything I'm agreeing with, was once they nixed a certain actor.
Yeah.
That with the one that they killed off,
the guy that they made it seem like was the star of the movie, and then they killed him off 45 minutes in.
Like if you leave him in there, then I bump my grade up.
Yeah,
that's because the two that were left were not.
Well, yeah, it was the twins from Avengers. Yeah, it was Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, so
I thought Godzilla looked good.
Oh, he did.
Oh, he was great.
And I'm gonna see the second one whenever it comes out, the sequel, whatever they're going to do.
I'm sorry, but it's just me being a Godzilla fan. And the one thing that they do through all Godzilla movies is they keep that roar. Mm-hmm. And as long as that roar is there, no matter what my Godzilla looks like, as long as I hear that screonk, I'm like, that's my Godzilla.
That's what drew me into the Michael Bay Transformers. I was all against it. And then Peter Cullen, and I was like, damn it.
They got Peter Cullen. So.
And I wasn't nearly as satisfied with that as I was with Godzilla.
I'm excited about the sequel to the Lionsgate, or the Legendary. I keep saying Lionsgate, Legendary.
So see how they mesh it with all the others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so it's going to be the sequel, and I like who they got. They got Michael Dougherty, who did Trick or Treat.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did Krampus also.
Yeah,
Krampus.
So he wrote and directed this one. Nice. So I'm excited to see what he does. I think he's going to be a bigger fan, so he's going to.
They're still mixing with the other two universes, right?
Because the King Kong one.
They're building to that.
Yeah, they're building. Okay.
Yeah.
So and like I said, it's just a great time to be alive as a Godzilla fan. I mean, and we got an animated movie coming out on Netflix about Godzilla, and the fact that we're like, oh man, Legendary's we gotta wait till we see Shin Godzilla, the sequel. But isn't that great though? Because we got more Godzilla movies, and we got a Godzilla versus King Kong movie coming. I mean,
that is good.
That'll be good.
So I'm very excited, and I'm glad that he's Godzilla's getting more love. I think recently, I'd say the.
It never stopped for me, but
but I would say
mainstream,
mainstream, or just people my girlfriend loves Godzilla. We did marathons on Sundays. We do BLTs and watch Godzilla movies. Her favorite movie is Godzilla versus Mothra Battle for Earth.
Okay.
And then her second favorite is Shin.
Okay.
She's watched that 2 or 3 times.
Right on.
So
good.
Yeah.
She's
even got a Mothra-ish tattoo.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
You haven't seen that?
No.
Let's wrap this up.
We'll wrap this up. So long story short, we love Godzilla. And we can understand you roll your eyes, rubber suit, whatever.
It's
I'm like, okay, fine.
It's
much more than that. But we can say, even as Godzilla fans, Shin Godzilla.
Start with Shin Godzilla and see what you think.
Yeah.
And then find some other ones to enjoy.
Yeah.
Or even if you feel black and white and classic, watch the 1954
watch the original.
It holds up. It really does.
Yeah.
So we're gonna step away. But we're coming back with Danny. Hang on.
Oh, okay.
Let me talk.
Go ahead.
So we're gonna come back, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch it to horror, considering Godzilla is the king of monsters. But we're gonna do horror, really scary people. And so our segue into that, we're gonna finish this episode with
Overlooked
Underdogs.
This is something we do. We just give it up to actors or actresses who have never quite got the credit they deserve, but they're awesome. We've done one for Al Leong, we've done one for Brian James, and Huru picked this one, and it's a freaking winner. Huru, tell us about who we're honoring today.
So we're doing Tony Todd.
Tony Todd.
The Candyman. So here's how it started. Once the sort of what do you call it? Renaissance of the 80s horror movies. As the people who grew up watching all those things, and now they can put stuff online and they're making moves and they're adults. I started seeing t-shirts. I'm a big t-shirt guy. Godzilla, whatever. Y'all know I'm doing different t-shirts all the time. So I kept seeing all these horror homages and drawings, whatever. It's Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers. I saw Gremlins, Ghoulies, Trolls, tons of zombies, obviously, because of Walking Dead. But no one and I mean no one. There was a favorite picture, and I'll put it up here. Great, it had like so many,
literally everything,
almost everything
except Candyman.
Except Candyman.
Yeah.
And this is like the past like 3 or 4 years, and just picture after picture after picture, and I was like, and of course I'm thinking, I'm like, is it because he's black? You know, like, because he's one of the few.
He's like the only one that's iconic.
When they're doing other ones that just had one movie and are newer, you know, I'm like, okay, now you've skipped a guy who's done 3 movies.
Yeah.
You know, so I was a little upset. Since I've seen one. I've since seen one included.
And make a quick point too. Final Destination dropped the ball on not keeping him as representative of death.
Yeah. Yeah, he had that one scene in the first movie, and I thought they were going to keep him around.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, cool, like Tony Todd's
another the character that connected all the movies.
That should have been his voice should have always. Like, they didn't have to show him. They should have just had his voice.
Like, he has the greatest voice ever. I want to jump in here. We like to mention why someone is amazing and iconic. I'm going to talk about like a lot of actors. Tony Todd got to start doing theater stage work. He's done Othello. He did Aida, Dark Paradise, something called The Playboy of the West Indies. Got to start on the stage.
The Rock? He was in The Rock?
Was he in The Rock?
The Rock,
yes, yeah.
Some of his earlier roles, Sleepwalk, Platoon, 84 Charing Cross Road. He did TV, Simon & Simon, 21 Jump Street, Matlock, Star Trek. He was in Colors. He was in Lean on Me. I feel like his first starring role that people got some attention was the Night of the Living Dead remake by Mr. Tom Savini. And then from then on, obviously Candyman, The Crow, The Rock, Final Destination, a lot more television, The X-Files, Homicide, Life on the Streets, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, 24, Psych, Chuck. He's the voice of Dreadwing on Transformers Prime. He's also done television series Dead of Summer and Riverdale.
Yeah.
And
he's the man, basically.
He's the man.
You probably overlooked him, and you think, oh, he was in that? Oh, he was in that too? Crap, I need to. Yeah, exactly.
I'm surprised he hasn't done more voice work.
He's done a lot of cartoons.
He's done a lot of cartoons. Yeah.
Oh, and this has been changed since then because there have been longer running shows, but when I read this on IMDb at the time this little blurb was written, it said he appeared on all 3 of the longest running sci-fi series of all time at the time it was written: X-Files, Stargate, SG-1, and Smallville.
Okay.
So he's been on 4 different versions of Star Trek, I think. Yeah, Tony Todd. He's a great actor. The Crow, loved him in The Crow.
Toast.
Great voice. He's the man. So we're all going to drink a shot of whiskey.
Normally I don't, but I will for this.
To Tony.
To Tony Todd. Still with us, still doing great work. Tony Todd, you're the man.
That wasn't real alcohol.
No.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's been a cat asleep.
Oh, and yeah, a little Cheddar. Making a little cameo. This is Danny's cat, Cheddar. Maybe the coolest cat I've ever encountered. This cat is awesome.
Yep.
And he's been with us this whole show, and you'd never know it because he's so chill and well behaved.
Also a Godzilla fan.
Also a big Godzilla fan.
And a Todd Terrier.
Yeah.
So, of course I'm Tony Todd.
Tony Todd fan.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap this up.
Kicking in.
Yeah. We are officially out of time, so come back. This is part 1. Come back for part 2. We're going to talk about 80s horror movies. So good night, Matinee Prices. Thanks to Danny Miller. Thanks to Cheddar. Keep watching movies.
Woo!
Awesome. That was good.
Dude, and we did really good on time on that one.
Yeah.
We never bring it in at 30 minutes.
Where's the pause? Boom. Yeah, I see you.
It's the Baxter Show.
It's the Baxter Show.